All right, welcome to another Premodern video. This is Replenish. Replenish is the deck that everyone is hyped and scared about right now for good reason. Replenish is very powerful, kind of has disgusting combo draws, kind of has a lot of longevity. It's a deck that I was actually somewhat known for. Like, I played it quite a bit. I played it in the PSS last year. Played my unique build that contained 4 Mox Diamonds. The thinking behind that, of course, being like the Replenish really loves acceleration to get to its top end. Even acceleration to get to 3 is like pretty important. It has pretty heinous mana, so the Mox Diamonds help defray that. And kind of what I mean by that is that if you look at this mana, on turn 2, you want to cast something that costs 2 and a U using your Ancient Tomb. But then on turn 3, you want to cast something that costs 2 WW. So you really want dual sources because they help you cast your sort of weird W on 1, 2 U on 2 through an Ancient Tomb, and then 2 WW. But the thing is, Mox Diamonds were taking up pretty substantial deck space, and it has become slightly justifiable. I don't think it's like the most justifiable. Like, these seal cleansings are basically occupying the Mox Diamond slot. I probably had these 4 out, had Mox Diamond. Seal cleansing has always been my least favorite card in the Replenish deck. All it does really is enable Parallax Tide, but then all Parallax Tide does is sort of like enable extra draw straps to try and get replenished. Then you kind of run into the fact that like there's a lot of decks that get ahead of you where Tide combo is too slow, and the Goblins is one of the biggest decks in the format, right? And then against Goblins, you kind of are playing, these cards are like super dead. These cards are 2 minutes pretty bad. It's just like super slow. But yeah, so I kind of have a lot of opinions on Replenish, but new year, new meta, new month, new meta. And one thing that I like Seal Cleansing for is that we're seeing a lot of Sylvan Library, and we're seeing a lot of Oath of Druids, and sorry, not Oath of Druids, but we're seeing a lot of Sylvan Library, and we're seeing a lot of Sphere of Resistance. They're both coming out of the same deck, but Sylvan Library is one of the only ways that derpy green mid-range decks can actually beat you, because if they just have resources 1-for-1, you just like always win once you get your stuff together. But if they draw 4 extra cards to Sylvan Library, they can conceivably stay on top of what you're doing. So Seal of Cleansing helps stop that issue. I don't like playing Seal of Cleansing for value. Like, this deck is a synergy combo like deck. It's super reliant on like things coming together for you, and the more time that you spend like doing this stuff, where you're just like trading 1-for-1 with your opponent, like all your opponent's decks are designed to be good against these cards, right? It's just like it puts you farther away from assembling your win, more than it puts your opponent farther away from assembling sort of their win, or stopping you, like killing you before you win, or disrupting you. So that's just one way in which like my thinking about Replenish differs from what I've heard other people talk about it. Like if I was going to build a blue-eye control deck, I would not build it with like a bunch of cards that only do good stuff if other cards are on the battlefield next to them. Like, the sort of concept of mid-range and control is that your cards are individually powerful. The synergies are mild. The synergy between the card Standstill and Mistress Factory is like really good, right? But like, if you draw Standstill, you're drawing 3 cards a lot of time. If you draw Mistress Factory, you've got a 2/2 man land that you can convert for value most of the time. They don't really rely on each other. If you just like cast Parallax Wave, and your opponent's just playing a deck with a creature, your opponent's playing like Goblins or whatever, and like they just like, you spent 4 mana and then they don't have Goblin Warchief, Goblin Piledriver on the board for a couple turns. It's like, unless if that's all you're doing with your 4 mana investment in your card, like they're going to catch up from that. Even if you double invest and you're just like go seal cleansing and you seal cleansing wave and you kind of get this one 2-card plague wind situation, that's still something to they can catch up from. And one of the big reasons is just that like you're sort of investing your resources like in combination to just do something that only lets you see more draw steps. Now, granted, these cards being in your graveyard means that every replenish lets you do it again, but my experience with this deck is honestly like it feels different than other people's experience. Like when I play this deck, the games that I lose are normally games where like I can't find Opalescence to tie the combo together. Like the pieces didn't show up. I like played a wave. I waved some creatures out. It faded away. I sacrificed it. I played another wave. I played a replenish just to survive, or maybe I played an Opalescence, but then my wave got disenchanted. Like what you're doing is like so reliant on separate pieces coming together, and your opponent, if they're smart, they kind of understand what their game plan is against you. They're going to kind of slice those out. All that said, looking at this list right now, you can see that I've sort of made a concession to the camp of like making this a mid-rangier, control-y deck. The only difference may be that like I still love City of Traders. Still think City of Traders is really powerful in this deck. Painless Soul Land is really good against decks like Burn and like decks that are pressuring your life total. Having 2 Soul Lands in play with Frantic Search kind of gives you an angle to make for some explosive turns. And I generally just like this deck to be explosive more so. But yeah, it's clunky. It's got a really high curve. It's got extremely crazy color demands. The way it interacts with the opponent is like not really that exciting. I'm not. Swords of Plowshares is the most powerful card in Premodern. I'm not even like happy to run it because what ends up needing to happen is that your opponent needs to be like sort of like we talked about on the podcast where Goblins really is 2 different decks. It's like a Goblin Lackey connecting deck, and it's like a not Goblin Lackey connecting deck. And so this deck is like pretty good at dealing with the not Goblin Lackey deck, and it's not great at dealing with the Goblin Lackey deck. So it has to play 4 Plowshares, and also because of that, it has to play some number of Red Blast in the sideboard. My old plan was just like, okay, instead of drawing Swords of Plowshares, why don't we just draw Mox Diamond and then put these cards into play faster and like either race the Lackey or like get an early Parallax wave and then, wave the Lackey or whatever it puts out, right? Let the Lackey hit you, play Parallax wave out the War Chief, wave out the Siege Gang, like whatever. Hope they don't have Naturalize. They can't be so lucky, right, that they have Lackey, a payoff, and Naturalize in their hand. So, that's the thinking there. Cephalid Coliseum is an extremely great land, and I have no idea why nobody just plays it in every replenish. I don't care how you build a replenish deck. I don't care how many lands you play. You should just play Cephalid Coliseum instead of an island. Extremely high upside to get a free looting effect that sits to your mana base. I understand the mana base is painful, but Cephalid Coliseum rules, and you should be playing it. You should be playing 4 intuitions. You should be wanting to draw intuition every game. If you draw 2 intuitions in a game, that's like also good. Sure, if your hand's 3 intuitions, like maybe that's bad, but your first 2 intuitions already won the game. The reason it wins the game is intuition replenishes a combo, and then you intuition, you get 1 of each, you cast replenish, you put 2 of them into play, then you cast the next one on your following turn. Basically whatever you do, whatever you need to get Tide into play first. So they give you Tide, put Opal Wave in the graveyard, then you play the Tide, you tide them out. They put Opalescence in your hand, you cast Replenish to tide them out, then play the Opalescence. So they give you Wave, then you just cast Replenish, you tide them out, then cast the Wave. So it's all good. If you have an Attunement play and Frantic Search in play, all the more power to you. If you already had one of those cards in your hand, you can kind of do a different intuition. That's cool. So if you draw 2 intuitions, just intuition for 1 of each, and then intuition for replenish. It's a little slow. It's going to cost you, 10 mana to get to your first thing, and then another 4 mana to seal the deal. But, it's just don't trim on intuition. I just don't understand. Now there's discussion about trimming intuition for the sideboard. A lot of people like to cut intuition from the sideboard because they're just like, oh, Laney, like, I don't want to put the good cards in my deck directly into the graveyard without casting them and forcing my opponent to like use their cards on it. It's like, well, first intuition, if you're worried about that kind of opponent, a dastardly opponent, intuition, you get 3 deep analysis. And the second intuition is like not a huge deal if you just put 1 Tide, 1 Wave, and 1 Opalescence in the graveyard. If you think your opponent's going to be like super rich in graveyard hate, then sure, trim some intuitions, right? But even if they're super rich in graveyard hate, then the first one's got to either deal with their deep analysis or whatever. They have to be like a pressure plus graveyard hate deck for it to matter. Give me too much time, that kind of stuff. But yeah. And then these used to be sort of Orm's Chant Abeyance type effects, but recently the thing that I care about more is the card Meddling Mage. So Meddling Mage decks, like Blue-White Flippy, like Grotog, like Blue-White Dreadnought, are quite powerful against this deck because first, one, those decks are not flippy, but the other decks are quite good at drawing multiple copies. So if they draw the first copy named Swords of Plowshares, that's not really good for you. Because now anytime you want to remove a Meddling Mage, it's going to cost you 4 mana, or you're going to have to find a way to put Parallax Wave in your graveyard and cast 4 mana. The first one named Plowshares, it's like, okay, that's not good. Second one named Parallax Wave. Now that's really not good. So now you have to like loot all your Parallax Waves. So you got to cast these cards first, then you got to get Parallax in your graveyard. Then you have to name Replenish. The third one names Replenish, then you're not removing Meddling Mages for the rest of your game and the lifetime. So Powder Keg and Wrath of God are differently named ways to deal with pesky Meddling Mages. So they're super powerful. And these are just good cards against Grotog, Flippy, and it's okay against Stifle Knot. Exalted Angel Pivot. I really can't talk about how good this is enough. Like, some decks, their plan is to just stop you from having Opalescence in play. If you don't have Opalescence in play, you can't win the game. You have to attack with your enchantments one way or another. So a lot of black mid-range decks, they're going to be like, here's my plan. I'm going to duress Haunting Echoes. That's like how I'm going to get you. And so all right, let's jump into game 1. 26 lands, 1 lander. There we go. That's much better. Pretty easy bottom here. And hate's a mulligan in a deck containing like 1,000 spells that loot, but there's sort of nothing you can do about that. Pop, so we're gonna have to find a Opalescence as fast as possible. At least we're on the play. Opponent gets in with pop. Hopefully that's all they got. Okay, another pup means that I really want to draw a soul land this turn. Seal of Fire. Give me something good. Basic Plains. Right. Frantic searching just so that I can get a Swords of Plowshares might be where we're at. Is there any spell I want to cast at sorcery speed this turn? I would cast a Seal of Cleansing if I drew it, so we're going to go for the main phase Frantic. Okay, so the attunement is actually pretty sick. It'll let us dig into the Parallax Wave. We need to clean this up. But yeah, no Swords of Plowshares, but we found the Opalescence, so we really can't complain. I guess I'm just hoping for no main deck Phyrexian Furnace. Okay, so we take 6, maybe 12 next turn. We could actually be in big trouble against a Fire Blast. The first Jackal Pup will have dealt. Yeah. So I really needed the Plowshares. So yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to be fast enough against Fire Blast good stuff. So it has to be, and I actually lose to Fire Blast Bolt if they have a Bolt waiting behind, or a Mountain waiting behind. So I need a Parallax Tide, and I need other good news. Okay, so I will find the Tide eventually, unless I find it here. If I find it here, this deck is just super broken. Didn't find it. So yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit too slow against quite a powerful draw with Burn. See if I can con them here. Okay. And we need to not die to 6 damage from 3 cards in hand. So, fat chance. Hopefully it's all Ball Lightnings. Okay. Fade. Draw. Attack. For a huge amount of damage. Well, 15 damage. Hope to find Parallax Tide. Okay. Opponent's dead next turn anyway, so it's really just a frantic search here that we want. I go frantic search, draw soul land, cast attunement, find something else. So no, because if I cast attunement, I won't have enough cards in hand. Okay, so it's frantic search, and then if I'm under the potential of, if I'm under any danger, I'm going to intuition for 3 Swords of Plowshares. And I'm thinking about casting Swords of Plowshares right now to just make it not possible to lose. I don't know if there's anything, they can't do anything to remove an attunement, but what they could do is they could throw 4 damage of burn at the Parallax Wave, 3 cards. I think I'm just going to do it now. There's no point in losing the game to like a great top deck for no reason. And I really can't imagine them removing this Parallax Wave and then finding 10 damage afterwards. So like if I didn't do that now, they could potentially like send 3 bolts at me or something like that. Yeah, so that was a tight one. Had to navigate that a little bit trickily. All right, so we have a new plan for burn, which is to do this. So we want to go fast, but we also don't want to lose too much tempo to blast effects, because their blast effects are super good. Real question is if we want powder keg. It's really too slow on the draw. I can't really get anything. Just have our own blast effects. Tide is really important to buy time. Really just can't imagine a world in which we get an angel into play, but maybe we really can if we have this much delay available. I think we're gonna stick with this plan. We still gotta win fast. We just need to slow them down enough for us to get the win into play. And all these things are better at slowing them down than anything else I have access to. And then tide comboing them is even okay. But again, I can't do it into a blast, but really don't have a choice. Maybe it's just better to not try to board out everything. I mean, everything's bad against blast. I can't just like not play any of the blue cards though, because they let me win faster. I had 2 kind of ideas for this matchup. One is to like be a control deck that can create enough time to just like hard cast everything. And the other is to just try to lean into the combo and protect the combo. With the game 1 win and knowing that my opponent doesn't have, not knowing if my opponent has something like Phyrexian Furnace, Seal Cleansing feels less exciting. Whereas like attunement, like I could just like attunement to just find what I need. Seems fine. Okay, so we have Plowshares, we have attunement, we have an Ancient Tomb, which is not ideal. We have, oh, I forgot I could board out a couple Ancient Tombs probably. So we have no blasts, so we can go turn 2 attunement, turn 3 Parallax Tide. We're stealing so much damage to ourselves. I can't imagine. We go turn 1 Plowshares, turn 2 attunement, turn 1 Plowshares, turn 2 attunement. Could frantic search. So I get 5 looks plus my draw steps to find Opalescence and Replenish together. But on the other hand, I'm like assuredly dead by turn 4 if I deal 5 damage to myself. I feel like 6 has got to be better. We just need some painless mana. It's a lot better if you want all these cards. Don't need 2 attunements though. Nice little pup starter. And we've got great draw. Alright, no sense in being coy. Pretty sure this just gets hydroblasted 1,000,000% of the time. I guess they could be playing Reckless Charge type stuff, so maybe I should hold up Hydroblast to blow that up. If they Reckless Charge this Mog Fennec right now, can you imagine? Oh, Swords of Plowshares, great draw against potential Ball Lightning. Man, I have a great start against this. Oh, never mind, they just already on that. I'm not going to hold up white mana next turn, so this Swords of Plowshares is saving 2 damage. Another Mog. Grim Lavamancer. Wish I could plod that. But, oh, Blue Blast. Nice. So we get to do this. We can even protect this attunement with the Blue Blast. I think it's actually quite a good play to do. Yeah. So we really just drew extremely well this game. Everything's just kind of lining up for us. Like, look at our opponent down to, our opponent is actually kind of flooded out. Obviously I really just want intuition here, but yeah, so our opponent drew all 1-mana spells, but they drew 3 lands. So we're going to have a couple turns to cook here. And I think it's just going to be like a play attunement a bunch. Oh, we might even actually just go for the value. I think that's totally fine. Oh, nice. We drew an intuition. I mean, if our intuition gets blasted, or do we really think our intuition's going to get blasted? Will our intuition be blasted? Guess we can't play with fear. I wish we drew another soul land, because then we could do everything, right? Yeah, we would be able to do everything if we drew a soul land. Oh no, we wouldn't have the card. Okay, this is fine. We're just gonna set up the when we're at 17, so we have ample time to whatever. Incinerate face. Lavamancer activation lets me get an intuition through, which would be great. Oh, I should have done it with the others. Whatever. We're gonna go Tide. Wave. Tide wave. What could they do? Tide? Just guarantee a Tide in the graveyard. So I can play around Blast next turn. Okay, so Fire Blast, Bolt, Lavamancer would be 1 damage short. I'm looking for a Blast. So I'm going to do some stuff. I'm actually quite bad at commentating and playing this deck at the same time. It takes like a pretty tremendous amount of mental load for me, but we will get there after touching some cards. So we want to Frantic Search. There it is. And counter target spell if it's red. Nice. Yep. Got there. Okay, so always important to, after you have like the combo completion, to make sure you got extra stuff going. And, you know, big shout out to Hydroblast for sort of gluing that game together. I don't think I would have won without access to blasts, and it's one of the changes I made to the deck when I begrudgingly cut the Moxen. All right, let's jump into round 2. We're on the play. And this one is kind of interesting. This hand is actually super clunky. It's not even clear what I want to get with intuition. And my dual lane being a Skycloud expense instead of a Darkar Waste means. So I don't even know. Like, this is like, on one hand, it's a sweet hand because like I can just slam turn 2 intuition and then get everything into my graveyard so that if I ever top deck replenish, I'm good. On the other hand, I might be in the replenish waiting room. So I think I still want to lead on Flooded Strand because I still want to, I'm not going to want to turn 2 replenish if my opponent's playing a pressure deck, or turn 2 intuition if my opponent's playing a pressure deck. Oh, okay. So that changes things. So replenish tends to be quite good against black mid-range. I don't think I've changed anything about the deck to change that. So expectation is that my sideboard Exalted Angels and Deep Analysis are going to do lots of work. Okay, so we could assemble natural combo here, but normally duress means more discard is coming. So, and I wish that my opponent saw Parallax Wave and not Opalescence, because normally you want to play the Parallax Wave first so that I can attack. Oh, but it's a little black-white control. Okay, I see. A little black-white control with some main decks, cheeky main decks Furnace action. So black-white control is actually quite good at getting out of this setup. So I'm actually going to take my draw step in case I find a Parallax Tide. Okay, no Parallax Tide. So what's really obnoxious is that they can Vindicate the Opalescence and then exile it as well. Put with 5 cards in hand. Yeah. I think I want to be in a position where I don't lose this Opalescence for no reason. We're quite insulated from any sort of clock that they might have, but if they start getting Dust Bowl Engine online, things get a little unfortunate. Bard's Verdict is fine. Go ahead and discard this Ancient Tomb and this Plowshares. At least if they want to exile the Opalescence, they won't get it for super free. And yeah, I think like sandbagging the holding up the Opalescence isn't the worst, because I might draw. Maybe I wish I played Opalescence last turn then. It's hard to say. I might draw Seal Cleansing, which I would actually want here. So now I could like Intuition for triple Tide, play Tide, exile 3, and follow up. I think I'll just do this the slow way though. I do really want to attack for 4. Maybe this is the end of their discard, right? Yeah, I don't know. Giving them the information sucks, but it's just like, if they're going to like Vindicate, then I'd rather them Vindicate a Parallax Wave than a Opalescence. So this also makes it so they can't play a creature this turn, so I like that as well. That is disgusting. Okay, that's a disaster for me. Unless I top deck something awesome, like, I don't know, Cephalid Colosseum. Yeah, unfortunately, Phyrexian Furnace is going to make Threshold a tall order this game. Alright, this is how we lose to Black-White Control, I think. Luckily we have plenty of time, but need to kind of deal with this Furnace situation. Another Parallax Wave. Okay, maybe I wanted to play Ancient Tomb, discard the other land. Like, maybe on turn 3 I should have just done something instead of nothing. Yeah. A little Vindicate. A little Angel. Well, at least that Angel is not going to be coming for us for a while. Interesting. Nothing I can really do to make that good. Honestly, Angel just doesn't matter. Like, it's a clock, but it's going to be a slow clock that I can make Summoning Sick or hide away for like 5 turns at a time. So we're just going to wave out the Angel. I guess like maybe we wanted to top deck Opalescence this turn, and then if we did, we would have wanted a counter on our wave instead of waving out the Angel. Seems pretty reasonable. Ooh. That's interesting. Okay. Can wave out. We can tide out all the white sources, and then we'll have a few turns. I think I'm just going to pass. I'm not under any pressure. I don't have Seal Cleansing. I don't want to discard a card just to draw Seal Cleansing this turn. Like, old me is like wasn't really into just like, okay, I'm just going to take the 2 looks, but like discarding cards here is just not what I really want to do, especially with my opponent. Their hand is probably just all removal. So like now I have a clean Frantic Search that gets to discard 2 lands no matter what. Okay. So yeah, I don't think I want to do anything with this Parallax Tide until and I also could just hold the Parallax Wave until like the last minute. It's a lot of decisions, honestly. I'm kind of just riffing through this. There's like a pretty good argument to just like not casting Wave for a while. Because like what I could do is I could Tide combo first, then I could cast Wave. Like, you know, it all sort of just depends on what's coming for me on the top of my deck. I don't know, opponent's near hard casting another Angel. Okay, they just have vanilla Disenchant, so that's better than if I cast Tide this turn. So now we really just want a Tide combo. Phyrexian Furnace sort of got me this game, but I also haven't drawn any Replenish. Ooh, another Angel. Opalescence, sure. Got a Tide. Not gonna like it, but kind of have to do it. Oops. Tide out all their white sources. That way they also can't Vindicate. And Chillax? Is there a reason to start playing lands? I don't think so. I don't think there's a lot of sequences that would be able to generate like enough mana. Really just need to draw Plowshares. Opponent has the white mana source. Do have the Vindicate. So they get their 2 lands back. Get in for 6, the next turn they can get in for 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. It is 1 short. So Gerard's Verdict, Phyrexian Furnace combo really got me this game. Okay, but let's see if we can do something, anything. All right. We're just going to play an Opalescence. And the only top deck that will save me is a... Okay, so I'm going to play this Sky Cloud Expanse, because if I draw Attunement, I can draw CD of... I can go Attunement, activate Attunement, CD of Traders. It'll be great. Otherwise, I'm dead. Cycle Decree for 0. Scrying for X. That almost certainly kills me, right? So I got my Intuition duressed. I got Verdicted twice. Verdict really got a ton of value. Opponent drew a lot of Phyrexian Furnace, sure. But I didn't draw any copies of Replenish, so my graveyard actually wasn't relevant this game. No flip. Oh, there's the Dust Bowl. Technically, I played around that. I didn't really play around that. Luckily, I can take manland damage this turn. And not quite. Oh, yeah. So we did finally draw Replenish. But not in like a meaningful way. Lots of disenchant action for my opponent too. Alright, so we're going to do these for sure. We're going to cut the looting. Tide is fine. Tide combo is fine. Intuition is a lot worse against a lot of Phyrexian Furnace action, even when I can Intuition for triple deep analysis. One powder keg for potential shenanigans. Yeah, Plush is probably 4 copies of Plowshares. Yeah, but also 2 copies of powder keg seems super bad. They only have 8 creatures in their deck. I can block. I can deal with Decree tokens in 3 ways. It seems like enough removal to me. Oh, we can maybe trim a Replenish. Sure. So powder keg. Because powder keg sometimes kills a Phyrexian Furnace, so that's why it's better than a Plowshare. Okay. That's fine. Some people like to keep Attunement in these spots. I don't like to keep Attunement. I think it's like nice that it turns on your, like it makes your Opalescence a card, but it's just like so much card disadvantage against a deck that's just gonna, its whole purpose is to grind you out. Don't really like it. It's nice to have the card selection, because what we'll do is we'll have a lot of cards in hand with deep analysis now, but I don't know. It just doesn't really get there. It's like not a great use of time to spend a card to make sure your draw steps are like, you know, super exciting. I guess this is fine. This hand's kind of has the colored mana problem, obviously. The early Ancient Tomb problem I also don't like. But then again, it's like, if I'm not drawing my Ancient Tombs early, when am I trying to draw them? What if my opponent just duresses? Yeah, that's fine. It duress anything. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Take the Replenish, I think, is interesting, because I don't even want to cast that, so. Okay. Let's see what kind of sideboarder they are. If they're a Swords to Plowshare sideboarder, or if they're not. They are. No, they're not. Okay, don't really want the City of Traders, and I guess this Tide doesn't really excite me, because I'm just so far away from casting it. Sure. Anyway, I guess I could pitch the island, but White Source. Okay. So we're going to cast a Parallax Wave because we want to protect the angel, question mark. Another, oh, their own angel. Okay. Now we want Powder Keg? Swords to Plowshares? So angels can just bounce off each other for a while. Do we play out lands? I think we do. Just sort of waiting to draw Plowshares. So notably, I'm good for us to trade 4 life for 4 life all the time. But if they spend their whole turn flipping angel, I'm going to be pretty tempted to wave it out to just get 3 turns of uncontested attacks. Because, like, I don't know. I could draw Opalescence. I could draw good stuff. I could draw Deep Analysis. Nice. Duress. I think they have... Oh, they didn't have this info. Yeah, they don't have the info. Sweet. We got a free card. And no angel flip from our opponent, so that's also great. Oh, and also I don't need a Sandbag lands because I no longer have any looting in my deck besides one Cephalid Coliseum. They did have the land. What are they on about? Another angel. Okay. Now we want to find Wrath of God or Powder Keg real bad. Just an island. Want to improve my life total here, I think. Because if they flip, they just flip 1. I guess not. Let's hold this back. Yeah, it's fine. Glad I boarded into Wrath of God. Plain cycling. Guess forcing them to use their mana would have been fine. I don't know. Powder keg 1 time. Powder keg. Okay. Now maybe we should have boarded out Ancient Tombs. It's okay. As soon as I draw intuition, I'm out of this. I've like drawing towards 3 intuitions, 3 deep analysis, 2 Wrath of God, and 1 powder keg. 2 powder kegs. Maybe I should have been attacking just to lower my opponent's life total. I think protecting my life total is more important. There's an Eternal Dragon in hand. I think I would have net more life gain. Do you think my opponent would have behaved differently? Like they would have not, they would have just gone for an angel attack and flip, but then I could have waved and then saved block. So maybe I would have 4 more life. When it plane cycles again. Found a furnace. Use the furnace. Seal cleansing. That doesn't really matter. Right now it doesn't. Furnace is quite good against my draw intuition plan. One might observe that I'm flooding out, but on the other hand, my opponent is a Dust Bowl deck, so, you know, it's kind of good. Picks up the Eternal Dragon. They're taking the slow road. Furnace, kind of annoying. Alright, let's just draw an intuition, please. Please. Forces them to exile something with Phyrexian Furnace. I might as well. It's actually kind of fun. The, like, what will they decide? They also sort of, yeah, they had the option to just not, which I find quite entertaining. Okay, so should I just take 5 lands? So if I take 3 lands, they could still maybe flip an angel. Yeah. Maybe I should have just been aggressive this game instead. But no, we're just going to sit back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll exile a swamp so that they can't hard cast an Eternal Dragon for 1 turn longer. Can we draw Deep Analysis or Intuition 1 time dealer? Like, these land drops are super good, right? Like, having land drops is awesome, considering that they're making it such that once I do find the dig, like, the dig is going to be super powerful and real, but we are not finding the dig right now. I mean, some would say it's like, oh, this is because you're running a 20 whatever land deck, 26 land deck, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells, and 10 lands, 11 lands. I don't know. Seems like that's not really on my side here. Anyways, I'm gonna have to think about if like I should have been casting Angel every turn or something, or attacking with Angel every turn. Because like the worst that can happen is that they would use their mana to flip Angels, but by instead hanging back to block, they got to use all the tempo. They got to use their threat of activation every single turn. So 1 turn I could have just forced them to activate, or forced them to flip an Angel instead of me, instead of them being able to like pick up Eternal Dragon or something. So now they finally get to turn an Angel up. But, you know, I'm still kind of blanking attacks. I'm still sort of live to do a big intuition for Deep Analysis and just like completely get out of this eventually. They did have a second Eternal Dragon. They will get another Angel flip. We will continue to not draw good stuff. So they have 5 planes, so they still have 6. So I still want to tide again. Disenchant targeting Parallax Tide. Okay. Now I get to seal their seal at some point. We really want to draw Deep Analysis, Intuition, Deep Analysis, please. Please. Guys only want one thing, and it's Intuition, Deep Analysis. I'll take another Angel, I guess. Angel will just let me double block. I'll also take a Plowshare. No, Plowshare is too slow now, the Eternal Dragon situation. I have 3 Eternal Dragons, so I would need to draw 3 Plowshares to grind through them all. 2 Angels is better. Wrath of God is fine. Give me something good. Attack, go up to 20, Wrath of God, get 2 Angels. Alternatively, wait for them to cast Eternal Dragon, maybe get Gerard's Verdicted, cry a lot. But they can flip. Double attack doesn't do anything for them except for gain them 8 life. It's kind of relevant. I think making them getting in, like, I gain 2 turns if I Wrath, right? Because they're going to have to cast the Eternal Dragon. The next turn, they're going to have to pick up the Eternal Dragon. And then the next turn, they're going to have to cast the Eternal Dragon. So 2 turns is a lot more than the alternative. So they cast Eternal Dragon this turn. Okay, they can make Decree for Angels. Yeah, Gerard's Verdict, sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, I got the turn anyways, right? So if I Wrathed, they would have just cast Eternal Dragon. My opponent is playing extremely defensively, all things considered. I feel like they could have, like, focused on developing their board a little bit more, but hard to say. I haven't gotten any Decree action. Another face down Angel. Okay. Well, at some point, they can actually just start attacking for Angels and get additional damage in. So now we're looking at 3 Angels. We're finally starting to draw non-lands of Dragon. I need a yield to Dragon pickup ability. I need a yield to Plane Cycling. Opponent has 40 seconds on me. I mean, I think I have to save Plowshares for Dragons. Okay, my opponent's not even going to think about attacking. Fetch to Thin puts me at 15, which is like slightly more Eternal Dragon-y. I start yielding to this. They want all the planes out of their deck. It's kind of like thinning, right? They have 30 cards. They're 30 cards deeper than I am. Vindicate, sure. They do have Vindicates. That makes my Angel plan a lot worse. I forgot. Serve. Protect. Take 6. Still die next turn unless I draw something good. Don't even have the life to flash back a bunch of deep analysis. If I Wrath that turn, I would have just been taking beatdowns for like substantially longer. Give me something good. Another Seal of Cleansing doesn't count. Do I seal the seal? So I seal the seal. Play seal. Thing is, Parallax Wave gets me out, so Parallax Tide does nothing. I really want to spend my mana. Do I really have a sequence where having multiple Seal Cleansings is like I can use them before they can get the 2-for-1 value on the Seal Cleansing? I don't have infinite mana. I can't tap Ancient Tombs anymore. Whatever. How did they tap Caves of Koilos for no purpose? Hello? That's too many lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 to 10. Boo. Okay. Normally I think I'm favored against this deck on paper, but evidently I've actually never beaten it the 2 times I've played it. So, I do have to draw Intuition. Like maybe I don't board out my 4th Intuition. Maybe I board out a couple lands. Who knows? All right. Match 3 versus El Pareja. And unplayable hand. And playable hand. We have the turn 3 combo. With the goods. We also have like turn 3 Parallax Tide in to protect the combo if we want. So the real question is if we want to play around turn 1 Wasteland. Guess our misclicking made that decision for us. Do we want to play around Stifle? Probably not. Don't know what deck plays that. I play a lot of Premodern. I don't know what deck plays that. Future Sight? Some sort, like, it's always a combo deck, right? But question is, which one? Oh, it's the Obliterate, what's the deck called? Oh, love to see that. Oh yeah. Opponent is a fan. Quiet speculating for triple deep analysis. Okay, I forget what we do here. So we have the Tide, but then they can just give us Opalescence, but then it's fine, because then we'll just go... I don't know what order we'll play in. I think we do 2 Opalescence and a Wave. No, because we need to force everything to go to the graveyard. How does it work? Okay, I'll have to think about it at a later date. I don't actually know the ideal when you have a piece in hand. I play so much of this deck and I kind of forget. Because he'll just give me Parallax Wave, put the Opalescence in the graveyard. I'll play Parallax Tide. Tide out 2 things. Tide down to whatever counter. But like I'll have double Opalescence in play, so I'll be insured, I guess. Even if the Tide goes away. Like even if they can lodge in an instant or something. Balancing Tings is the name of the deck. Yeah, so did that. That makes sense. Play this. Play this. 2 counters. Pass the turn. Plays land. Goes down to 2 counters. Goes down to 1 counter. And then goes down to 0 counters. And I'll have 1 land in play. Okay, I can't do anything about Lotus Petal because they can just float the mana. Are they going to triple Lotus Petal into balance here? That's the question. Lion's Eye Diamond. Lotus Petal. Oh, balance. It's their turn 3. Am I in danger? Looks like I'm in danger. Roar the Worm. Are they just gonna deep analysis? Sure. I beat a balance, but they don't have it, so because I can just hide out my own lands if they go for the balance. Straight concede. All right, Balancing Tings. Well, their Armageddon deck is certainly good against my all 4 mana cost deck. I do think I have to go fast. I don't know if they play any red spells for me to blast. I don't know if I need a grind with deep analysis. Balancing Act. I need to Scryfall right now. Yeah, so discard cards and whatever. So I can't even sandbag lands. So my deck needs to be configured in the way such that it goes as fast as possible because they're just going to try to float a bunch of mana, annihilate my hand. I like the moonshot there actually. So it wouldn't have been a great spot because they would have balanced and then I would have had 0 cards in hand with the 4 lands in play. So I just need my own deep analysis for when they balance me out and I need to rebuild. And I don't even think Seal Cleansing matters. I don't think Swords to Plowshares matters. It's hard to say. Like I can Plowshare as a Worm token. Turbo Balance. Or I could play Powder Kegs that kills Worm tokens and Lotus Petals. I don't know. I don't know. Well, spicy stuff. Wonder how fast they can get off a balance. I'm still drawing heat, so a little bit of a slow one. This only locks up the game on turn 5. And they've got a dual land start. Soul land would be good, obviously. Okay, they have the red source, so they can blast my intuition. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down. That's quite soon for a Tings. Too fast for me to have 0 lands. What I love is that Mox Diamond doesn't even get around an act. Yeah. Done. Discard 5 cards. I choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're even. We have an even amount of everything. You have a swamp. And we start again. Dwarven Ruins. So they got the Tings off. But don't know if the Tings were good. Because we just started the game over. It's like kind of like I got to loot a little. Still pretty much want to cast this intuition. Everything I have gets pyroblasted. They can Tings me again, I guess. Okay, so we'll get. Do we want multiple tides? Kind of think we want multiple tides. So we got wave tide. Tide. They can give me a wave again. I'll replenish 2 tides. Yeah, I kind of want one of each. I should think about this intuition more, but I'm kind of just not in the mood to think. So I think there is like some argument for going tide wave. So they could put 2 waves in my graveyard. Or 2 tides in my graveyard, but I can like make it so they never have mana on their turn. So give me the tide. City of Traders. If I get Tings did, do I want City of Traders in my hand? I don't think so. But I can kind of wave out my lands, maintain. Well, no, because I'll have 0 permanents. Right for 3. Keep the City of Traders as a surprise, maybe. Bait the disenchant here. I kind of actually want to keep my Tide on like 2 counters, because if they go for 3 counters, because if they go for Tings, I can save 3 of my lands. I guess if I save 2 of my lands, it's good enough. But the thing is, they would get 3 of their lands, but putting them 2 mana further away from being able to cast Balancing Act is probably a lot more relevant. So it's be like Crystal Vein, Double Lotus Petal, Act. The LED would obviously be quite good. Okay, they've got nothing. Tide fades down. I don't know. Kind of free counterspell could I be up against? Impossible to tell. Oh, all of their lands go into play tapped. So, oops. I was holding shift instead of control. Oops. Okay, come on. Map. 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 Okay, so I can also get Tinged, but I'll be able to save Opalescence. So I wonder if this is what they were preparing for. Okay, so everyone gets to get in the boat. If they go for Balancing Act on me, everybody gets in the boat, and we'll be fine. I would just be able to tuck 1, 2, 3 under my wave, and then tuck all my lands under my Tide, and then, all right, 2-0 against balance. All right, battling Arty. We're always battling Arty. All right, we have a hand. This one's kind of interesting. This might be the rare intuition for attunement situation. Already looking like a Grotog angle. Not an easy deck for me to beat, but will be super relevant to have my sideboard awesomeness getting in. Little turn 1 Dryad. All right, let's draw Plowshares. Yeah. Not quite Plowshares I was looking for. So yeah, we are going to be on a clock. There's sort of some good news. There's some bad news. Bad news is that I already had turn 1 Dryad. The good news is that I've got everything as soon as I find Frantic Surge or Attunement. Unfortunately, everything gets dazed from this spot. Unless I draw Soul Land. I didn't. But at least we get to hide whether or not we're playing like Blue-White Dreadnought, Bland Still, or other reasonable decks. And our life total's not bad. We didn't get double cantripped. This is going to be a big intuition. So I can get triple Replenish, plan to jam Wave, then Tide or something. I can get more waves. I can get Plowshares and stuff. I can get an Attunement. Picks up the island for the days, so I don't have to think too hard. Okay, that's good news. So we get to start with the wave. I could start with the Tide, and it would let me cut off. I would take one. I wouldn't take damage, and then it would let me stop from being counterspelled. A future. So it probably eats a counterspell anyways. Oops. So this is like slightly worse against foil. It'll also stop Arty from casting Gush next turn. So yeah, so forces the counterspell. Korean Dread goes up to 5. I go down to 10. I cast another spell. They cast another counterspell. I go down to 5. Oh, I guess this plays like weak against Meddling Mage, because Meddling Mage would have had to like make some decisions. Can opt. I could just be dead in 2 attacks. It's 6+7. And if Arty doesn't play an island, then it's gonna be very telegraphed what's happening. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay. Because this 1 damage plus this is gonna go up to 7, and then I can't cast anymore. But yeah, Arty was holding back the island. So turn 1 Korean Dryad. I had no speed this game, unfortunately. Didn't draw Plowshares. A little fire to the face. Disrespect. Game 1s are going to be hard against Grotog. If I had Plowshares, things would be different. Alright, so how do we play? We don't have time nor mana to fuss with Attunement. Parallax Tide is kind of okay, but we want all of our removal and all of our angels. So yeah, I'm not going to go for Tide. Normally, yeah, Tide isn't really that exciting in this matchup. What's more likely to happen is Angel Beatdown plan. I actually have to like grind out opposing Ray of Revelation. That's why I bring in Deep Analysis. It's like I don't have a lot of time to cast Deep Analysis, but it just kind of smooths my like turn layout because I just like want to be casting spells every turn. When Land played against me, I actually really loved just having Seal of Cleansing to destroy Mox. Seems interesting. I don't know. I have Powder Keg though. Seal of Cleansing blows up Winter Orb. So does Powder Keg, but still. All right, let's try this. A little mix of everything. At least we get to be on the play. And we have Plowshares this time. Of course, Meddling Mage naming Plowshares is quite good. These 2 Deep Analysis aren't great until we draw Attunement. Intuition is pretty reasonable here. Give me something to cast. Also should have played Sky Cloud Expanse to save myself a mana. Might end up intuitioning just for soul lands. Open pass instead of jamming something. So this intuition. So I want to get the Tide out of here. And then I want Deep Analysis. And I want, let's see, he'll probably definitely give me the Deep Analysis if Tide. Actually, I want these attunements. Well, Tide and a couple lands, I think. I forget what I want. And Arty's done nothing. Get this attunement. That's too much dig. I kind of want a proactive card in my hand, but. So Tide, I want Tide, Deep Analysis, and Wave, or Tide in 2 waves. Wave. Actually, I'll just get an Opalescence. So put the Opalescence into my hand. I can attempt to cast it. Oh, just give me the Tide. Interesting. Okay, well, let's just start casting. Well, Opalescence in the graveyard does mean cast Tide. Oh, it's like wants to take a peek. Just a little Pyroblast, cheeky Pyroblast. So I got a little bit of every name here. I'm under no pressure. Yeah, what is going on in my backyard? Portent targeting self. Could get Winter Orbed. Because Deep Analysis is quite poor against Winter Orb, and I know Arty has it. In fact, Winter Orb would just completely wreck me, huh? I actually have to have Frantic Search for Winter Orb. Didn't consider all the angles. The other thing is, like, I know that Arty just plays a slightly more aggressive Grotog list than me. Like, when I sideboard the Grotog list, I turn into a much more mid-rangey, like, Ray of Revelation Disenchant deck, but Arty's looking super lean here, so this lack of Winter Orb is, or the possibility of Winter Orb is going to be pretty disgusting for me. And hard for me to play around. There's really nothing I can do because my whole thing is just to jam spells every turn. So Ice targeting that. Interesting. So I get a resolve like an Opalescence here. Oh, that's the best land I could have drawn. It's going to take 4 damage. I really want to be able to get like value from my Parallax Waves going through the front. I guess I could have drawn City of Traders. It would have been slightly better. Draw City of Traders next turn. So Opalescence is like super weak against Disenchant, but I think it's better to establish because it turns my Parallax Wave into like a must counter, and then it can just like kind of hang out and play. Only taking damage from lands, taking 5 damage from lands. At 4 damage, Opalescence is not my favorite place to be. Angel. I would play Wave first, then play Angel. Would have liked to draw in some basics this game, huh? Yeah, Disenchant target Opalescence. Think about how much like pressure I'm under. I need to be in a spot where Winter Orb is not too good, Armageddon's not too good. But this, obviously, with the land drop, doesn't look like Armageddon anymore. Yeah, lots of Xeroxing. Hand size? No Moxes are really great for me. Hand size would be superb for me. Just turns Gush into a pick up 2 islands, discard 2 cards. It's like sacrifice 2 islands, draw 2 cards. No Winter Orb still. Oh my god, it's happening. Okay, we're pretty lucky this game. There's like, if Arty just had like a Winter Orb, we would just get Winter Orbed out of the game. I really want to put the Moxes back. Yeah. Oh, kept the Fire Ice. Wanted to use aggressive Fire Ices. Seal of Cleansing. Not the worst pickup. All right, what kind of card do we want to run into a counterspell? Well, actually, what we'll do is face down Angel, play Seal of Cleansing. Should draw a counterspell. Mage Plowshares. Counts as a clock. Rotting Giant. Guess I might as well do this. Wanted to use my mana. Jam Replenish next turn. Them getting Mage back is obnoxious, but it is what it is. Another Gush. this one comes with Armageddon. We are pretty unhappy campers. This one's, oh, once more gets the Ray of Revelation. Sure, I do have 2 opalescents in here. Name swords again. Names Replenish. Oh, running giant. Okay. That's 7 damage turn here. But we can just Wrath of God off the top. I think I shouldn't hold back lands. I think Arty just doesn't play Armageddon. He's just not an Armageddon believer. Oh, Powder Keg is going to be a little too slow. Take 7 damage. So at least this is protection against Winter Orb. I don't know. Could be holding back a Gush. Kind of feel like I didn't draw the cards in there. That's obnoxious. Magic Online being super bad. If Arty has a counterspell, I have like no out, so it's a daze. All right, we're worried about Winter Orb. Deep Analysis was like, it's like you kind of need to be able to grind. All right, so lots of Deep Analysis, lots of Intuition. Wasn't that exciting. Attunement's not that exciting either. Tide is a lot better than I thought it would be. Sure. This one's an awkward hand, but you actually kind of have to keep it. Because I'll play the Ancient Tomb. I'm always going to Intuition on 2. I'm just going to play the Ancient Tomb instead of... because I might top deck a Painless Blue Source. It's making me want to Intuition for white sources. Oh, I could have Intuitioned on upkeep to force him to daze and then not have an island in play this turn. But we could just Intuition. I'm actually just going to get the stupid Expanses. Or should I? Should I just get Attunements? No, I just need Sky Cloud Expanse. It's just like what I need right now. So I can hopefully go Tide into the good stuff. Yeah. I just need a jam every turn. Not bad. This could get blasted. Little daze. This Wrath of God's actually super awkward. Just like could have tried to nut into the I guess I don't know. I'm like kind of off it now. Just like feeling pretty blah. That reset was just kind of, I don't know. Probably should have just lost that game. But I should have intuitioned at least 1 Parallax Wave into this universe. Now with no Parallax Wave, it's just kind of bad. It's okay though, we play on. Upkeep, Ice the Ancient Tomb seems fine. Yeah, a little Vanilla Plains, can't be mad at that. Ooh, cleanup? Cleanup, made a cleanup phase. Hand is all heat. Discards Quirion Dryad instead of playing Quirion Dryad. That is interesting. All right, we're just living in a no Wrath of God world. It's just the kind of place we gotta be. Now I want to draw Deep Analysis. Stupid clunky deck cashes in a Rare Revelation while he can. It makes sense. Also would go to hand size with no land drop, of course. Yeah, maybe we should have put 2 Intuitions into the, or 2 Deep Analysis into the Intuition pile. I am unfortunately no longer at the life total where that's good. That's actually not true. If I just draw a bunch of cards, it's like not bad at all. Okay, let's get towards threshold here. What I want, I got 2 blues, 2 whites. Got plenty of blues, so I assume we get a white. One more card, and then Cephalid Coliseum gets to do its work. Gets to do its business. Pitches Mox Diamond. I guess I shouldn't play that island because I want to, like, if I draw only heat off the Coliseum, it's pretty nuts. Okay, Arty is just holding a bunch of counterspell. Hasn't drawn a Meddling Mage. Hasn't drawn good stuff. Powder Keg, a nice insurance policy here. Play Parallax Wave. Wish we had Abeyance. I mean, Grotog is kind of a sweet deck in the sense that, like, it can play just so many cards that you're going to be scared of. So you have to be, like, selectively scared of cards, right? So I, like, decided before this game that Armageddon was going to be, like, the card that I'm not scared of. Like, I know Arty plays Winter Orb, whatever. But you just, like, have an Armageddon. You just, like, go Island, Gush, Armageddon. Be, like, completely nuts. Probably throws another peek. It's just like, what do I need to be scared of? White mana. Disenchant for the keg. Disenchant for the keg. You got it. Ray of Revelation for the wave now. And then it's going to go for Meddling Mage naming Replenish. Potentially. You can just cast 2 Replenishes next turn. 1, 2, 3. Seems like a good spread of cards to have available. Guess I can't tap mana because Angel can get Fire Iced here. Well, I got a lot of different ways to kill a Meddling Mage. Guess I'm missing the Powder Keg, which is one of the ways. Names Replenish. Flip. God damn it. I'm going to get foiled once I go Plowshares Replenish. Arty seems to be able to be interested in freely casting a spell here. Well, ice. Plowshares. Gush. Going for the good old Gush foil here. Interesting. Pitching Ray of Revelation. Okay. So, Ray of Revelations are pretty freaking good. Another mage. Means that the race is actually just going to be clean here. Could name Plowshares. Could name Wave. Okay, let's just draw more Plowshares, I think. Do I have cards I want to discard? I can discard a Seal of Cleansing quite freely, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plowshares. Replenish. Has the Ray of Revelation. Won't be able to use it. Daze. Pay. Foil. No, win. This is so obnoxious to do on Magic Online, let me tell you. Click, 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 click. Ray of Revelation resolves. Grass does damage. This does nothing. This removes the land. Cast Attunement. Spin Attunement. Get nothing. Cast Attunement. Pass the turn. Attack. Gain life. Attunement was okay. Okay. So Attunement was fine. I did want to draw Deep Analysis that game. Tide was actually quite good. Tide was just like must counter every single time I cast it. Angels, of course, good. Plowshares was actually good. Put Arty in situations where had to either name Replenish or Plowshares. Showed him the Wrath of God, showed him the Powder Keg. No red cards here to worry about. Seal Cleansing remains mid. Alright. Let's ship it back. Yeah. Another playable hand. Could be in a spot where I want to Intuition for 2 tides to force Tide into my graveyard. Tide, Wave. New plan. Guess I should have played Plains first because I can draw Ancient Tomb off the top, and then Angel's gonna be. I guess if I draw Ancient Tomb, I'll just Intuition. Plowshares. Oof. Okay, what do we do now? I think we face down this Angel anyways. Oh, that's a move of fear. Oh, I guess I'm exposed to Fire Ice. Oops. So I should have Intuitioned, then gone for Tide, then gone for Replenish. I definitely didn't take an optimal line here. I'm just trying to ride the Angel to success. But the fact that I'm not doing anything with this turn is quite poor. Alright. Let's go for the Rainbow here. Gives me Tide. Interesting. Attack with Angel. Angel gets through. Happy about that. And now it's just going to be a race against a Fat Dryad, where Arty has to hold up Counterspell every single turn for Replenish. Gush is not a bad start, though. Powder Keg is too slow, evidently. It's like Powder Keg in this situation would just not be good. It feels like Meddling Mage, on the other hand, is quite good. And for 4, it is a race. Can certainly be fast enough here. Not anymore. A white source. So, nice little tricks with Tide. I'm sorry, not talking much because I'm like kind of focused up, but let's do this little trick with Tide. Oh, this does set the clock back a little bit. Okay. I'll take 8, gain 4. Opponent's down to 1 card. Can't really afford to take 2 damage for this Deep Analysis. Need to dig deeper because Plowshares is my next draw. I'm also like dead to a Fire Ice. I really need to find a Wave or a Wrath of God or something. I would like to have an extra look. Discarded Quirion Dryad. Oh, Powder Keg, just in time. Take 8, gain 4 up to 10. Could cast 2 spells on me. I'm trying to play around Arty casting 2 spells. That's heinous. I should have cast Opalescence last turn. That's not very good. I just lose to Ice, though. So I want to lose to Ice or 2 spells. I'm forced to chump block the Dryad. Yeah, I just have to attack. I shouldn't have cast the stupid Deep Analysis. Oh, the other option is a flashback Deep Analysis, of course. I wish I should have done pre-combat. I should have thought about that. I should have thought about all these things. Didn't play a land last turn. It's like very likely to have 2 spells. What if one of them's like a Ray of Revelation though? What if one of them's a disenchant? What if it's just like disenchant Ray of Revelation? What if it's like cantrip counterspell? Yeah, it's okay. I'm free rolling anyways. I should have lost this match. I shouldn't have flashback deep analysis, or I shouldn't have cast deep analysis because I wanted to like thought my draw was gonna matter. Just like I don't know, painful, atrocious, everything. Hopefully it draws a land and his hand is 2 disenchants. Could have let the plowshares on the mage resolve and then... Oh, this could just be fire, of course. Giving me a draw step. Wow. Alright, we're on the draw. Arty knows about everything. It's like I've wanted deep analysis every game, but I've also not wanted it. It's like I've wanted it when I've needed it, but not wanted it most of the time. It's like really hard to play attunement in my deck when I don't have like any way to like go up on cards. It's like generally my thinking. Opalescence has actually been really trash. Could I be a different kind of deck? Could I be a deck that doesn't have like a lot of Opalescence? It's like only finds Opalescence with intuition. It's just like Parallax Wave is actually useless against their deck without Opalescence getting in. Because it just like stalls for a little bit. But it does reset Query and Dryads, which isn't bad. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is fine, but it doesn't feel good. None of it feels good, right? It's quite a reasonable hand. I can just assemble a combo, and then all my future replenishes get in. I gotta start cooking as soon as turn 3, so I gotta go Tithe, then Wave, then Opalescence. That's icing on the cake. Do I want to take 2 damage every turn for the next like 1,000 turns? Like Seal of Cleansing is just like a fine play here because then I'll just Tide combo. Already a huge decision point. Obviously I can also just Intuition for Replenish. So Intuition for triple Replenish, play Tide, play Wave, play Opalescence, play Replenish if something gets countered. Worry about that later maybe. Happily cast Seal of Cleansing targeting a Mox. It's a counter spell. Makes it smells like a Winter Orb and like Mage's Plow. Okay, 1 time no. I'm gonna Parallax Tide 3, kicks down to 1. Cast Wave takes down to 0. I do safeguard against daze, stop any forward movement. But I'm like trying to hose a future daze, not one that's like right in front of my face. Could establish the Parallax Wave. It's 3 damage hurts. Oh, survived. No source. I can take one more. I can take all 3, but I want to take the third. I gotta take 1 more land away, but I should take the 3rd land away because everything costs 2 that deals with this. So, kind of made a mistake. Ticks down. Flooded Strand. Play a Wave. Get rid of the Mage. Has a City of Brass. Play Opalescence. Worried about Waxwane here. I mean, I guess if I was worried about Waxwane here, I'd have to navigate a little bit differently. Okay, let's show you some stack tricks. So we're gonna exile this Parallax Tide. It's gonna resolve. The Leaves the Battlefield trigger is gonna hang out here for a while because we're gonna want our Wave back. We're gonna Tide, then we're gonna Wave. Arty's gonna tap for white, which makes sense. Wave is going to trigger. We're going to exile this city. We're going to Wave, targeting Wave. Now we're going to untap all our lands a few times actually so that we can put together not the Ancient Tomb though, but it's fine. I want the Ancient Tomb to at least be untapped. All the stuff comes back, and we're going to do this a few times because we have the attunement in our hand, and what we're going to do is we're going to Intuition for stuff and then get the stuff, and then so yeah, we're just making infinite mana on Magic Online. Always a treat. Takes forever. So if I had Abeyance here, things would be nicer because I could just Intuition for Abeyance. I've done this like 10 times. I don't even know if I have enough mana to do everything that I need to. So yeah, I can like recast Attunement like 3 times. Okay, whatever. This into play. Let those come back. Go stack, 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 and stack. Disenchant. Already did that in the Disenchant resolves. Intuition. And get the last Opalescence in. And we'll play Attunement. And we'll pass the turn. Landmarks Tranquil Domain. Hilarious, but ineffective, because I'll just get everything tucked under my P-Wave. So yeah, basically, Moto exploded. We said Arty can have the win, but we'll play it as a best of 5. So Arty at 2-2, and then I won 3 straight sideboarded games. All right, match 4. Let's get some Replenish on. Ooh. See, this hand's super bad against Wasteland. It's good against everything else. It's a 3-card combo, so definitely got to hope to draw that third land, that beautiful third land in my 26 land deck. Play against first we play against black-white. Can't get anything going. Draw too many lands. Now we're playing against blue. Can't get anything going. Drawing plenty of lands. Just kidding. Got exactly what we need here. Unfortunately, this setup is not good against counterspells. Oh, Polluted Delta. That's very interesting. Yeah, I'm going to run an Attunement into a Daze here, I'm pretty sure. I guess I could have Intuitioned for the full set. Okay, so, I mean, it was like worth thinking about if I wanted to Intuition to, like, because they could have cast like Impulse or Limdul's Vault or some nonsense on the end step. I can respond with Intuition and then have the whole setup ready. So that they can never tap out for the rest of the game. But I kind of like, I don't know, I have the read that people overrate this card, so that if they're going to have a counterspell, they're going to use it on this poopy card. But instead they fetch and do nothing. Go for the Duress. That's fine. Duress would have messed me up anyways, in every world. Just needed the soul land. Draw. Alright, so I want the setup. I want the land this turn for sure. Wow, it could be Dreadnought, huh? I want the Seal of Cleansing available. I want all my cards available, actually, if it's Dreadnought. I really wanted to hit this land drop this turn. Gross. Guess we'll hit the land drop eventually. Could also Intuition for lands if we really felt like it, but it's pretty nasty. I have a lot of must counter spells in my hand, because there's no way I'm going to keep Frantic Search, and then Frantic Search I have to discard one of these cool cards just so that I can play a land, Parallax Tide, get it countered. Play Parallax Wave, get it countered. It's like really hard to set up this Replenish. Replenish has to be like the last card in a chain. If I Intuition, what am I Intuitioning for? Intuition for Opalescence and some Tides. I'm gonna try to keep my, I'm gonna just try to stay card rich. I just like don't want these card disadvantage cards. I don't really want to jam Seal of Cleansing into an obvious counterspell right now, but so I just won't. And then I can also just like Intuition for Plows if they like go for combos or whatever. Intuition for Plow at least sets me up for like a double spell turn. If they're gonna take it slow, I'm gonna take it slow too. So like playing around Daze is like kind of reasonable. Okay, never mind. This is like a brew. I feel like my lands should be under pressure if it's a copy of Rhystic Study. Interesting. Do I want to trade one of these cards for a land drop this turn? I certainly wouldn't mind with the Rhystic Study in play. Okay. So we don't know if creatures are important. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that the Rhystic Study deck doesn't have like a lot of Plowshare targets. Next turn we get to go for attempted Tide combo, attempted Tide combo again. They haven't played anything else though, so it's just like pretty likely that they just have Counterspell into Counterspell. Probe. Oh man, it's been a while since I've been probed. Okay, these attunements are looking pretty bad. Another Rhystic Study. Wasn't kicked. Okay, never mind. That's fine with me. I mean, I'm down to trade with the Stifle here. I have a Seal of Cleansing like in play. Get an island. I don't know. Maybe my opponent my opponent could play all sorts of crazy bombs. Definitely have to be worried about that. Counterspell, surely. So what did Probe do? Draw 2, draw 3, discard 2. So it's just a cantrip at 3 mana. So you really want to kick it? Interesting. So what I really want is to get a Replenish through. So maybe I just try to pick up 4 islands next turn. It's kind of an interesting spot. Does this deck have a stifle? What's the difference between 4 and 5? think I'm willing to wait on 4 versus 5. I mean, it just smells like stifle, doesn't it? Oops, I'm not supposed to do it like this. Yeah, fine. Didn't mean to do it like that. Had to play the seal of cleansing first so I could reseal. It's like my opponent's like obviously a stifle here. Guess I should have gone after all the blue. See what my opponent does here. Jam around days. Playing this land is pretty not good. We'll just play seal cleansing. I can't. I'm not even replenishing good cards. You know. It's like because I need my tide to be in the graveyard. Too bad we're not playing the version with Abeyance. Quicksilver Dragon. Okay, so this is just kind of like a control card. Control deck. Now, what's the stifle for though? Feels like stifle still needs to like enable stuff. Jamming replenish into 2 cards in hand. How does that feel? Yeah, whatever. Like maybe they just don't play counter spells. I mean, I should play around Mana Leak, I guess. Okay, that's unfortunate, but they do need to do something to win, or get some card advantage. They're just playing like a bunch of Ristic Studies, so card's actually quite bad against like I can just make sure that it never draws a card, right? So pass. Looks like they didn't put a lot of card advantage in their deck. Like a Fact or Fiction would just put me away this game. Or like if they have their own Tide combo. Now we have 3 cards that are very excited to see a Cephalid Colosseum or an Attunement. Pass. This Ristic Study engine is not really engineing. I feel like they needed more mana suppression to make the Ristic Study engine. The fact that they have Stifle implies that they would have their own Parallax Tide. But yeah, who knows? 4 mana. 5 mana. Little Probe Kicker. This is good Probe Kicker time. Sure. A couple Diabolic Edicts. Okay. It's a really great Probe Kicker. Basically just drew 3. Parallax Nexus. Sure. Parallax Stifle situation. Should have played around it, I suppose. They I don't even think they want to they like don't even want to like stifle this Parallax Nexus. It's just like it's a waste of a stifle. Like a Quicksilver Dragon. It's kind of waiting to draw an Opalescence, draw a Replenish. Good stuff. Guess they do want to stifle this Nexus. Sure. I've got all the mana in the world. What's it cost to flip one of these bad boys? 5, right? Stifle. It's like not even good. I get everything back. Okay. Might as well get rid of the clock on their upkeep. This game is taking too long. It's taking me 12 minutes. Another Quicksilver Dragon. Blue-black control action. I would consider casting the wave, but I could get Nexus again. And then if I did, I could consider casting the wave to get around getting Nexus again, but like, what's the point? So Quicksilver Dragon, kind of a funny one. If there's no other creature in play, it doesn't do anything. Opalescence, 1 time. Sword Splashers. Another probe. Can probe me all day, bud. It's good for them, obviously, to filter through. So I'm waiting for like a bomb. They do have Tide. They don't want to Tide for funsies. Tide combo is really scary from them. It definitely matters. But eventually I'm trying to draw more threats than they have counters, right? Well, let's play this Parallax Wave they know about. What's funny is that Diabolic Edict interacts with Opal Wave. Tide combo now. Ooh. If it has Chain of Vapor going on afterwards, it's quite good. Maybe I shouldn't have paid for a Ristic. They've only cast 1 counterspell though. They've also probed last turn. And Chain of Vapor is quite good here. So then they'll be able to cash it again. Guess I should have played out my lands. How many planes do I have left in the deck? Should have 2 more. I guess I'll grab one because their deck contains Stifle. Oh, I guess it's bad because it's bad to play against Tide. I'll just play Tide again. Yeah. Now the Opalescence has come. Parallax, Ristics. And I'm just going to deck them, right? What if I just plow all the drakes? They should have just played Mistress Factory. Wouldn't have been able to beat Mistress Factory. Oh, Parallax Nexus would obviously... Parallax Nexus Stifle would obviously be pretty spicy here. No additional Stifle. I can do this all day. Should have obviously... I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if I cracked the Flooded Strand. I mean, I guess I would have got my lands back one turn sooner. Take another City of Traders. A third Quicksilver Dragon has made an appearance, though. It is a 5/5. Alright, should we have scooped after getting tighted 3 times? Maybe. I'd take the Frantic Search here. My only way out is if I draw a Soul Land plus the goods. Maybe I should have played slightly more aggressively. How many plowshares do I have? Okay. Actually, it would have been great if I had Mox this time. All plowshares are gone, so I'm drawing dead. Okay. So, playing against this stuff. They have Diabolic Edict, so Opal Wave is not like a deterministic lock. Probe. Tide, their own Tide. I'm not like really good against, I'm really good against Tide. So I want this. Yeah, I really wish I just had Abeyance. I'll take out the looting. Seal of Cleansing actually doesn't have really any great targets besides Heuristic Study, but it does let me set up my own Tide combos. Plowshares was kind of reasonable, but there's only 3 Quicksilver Dragons that I saw. Trim a Frantic Search and trim an Intuition. Fine. I wish I had my stupid Abeyance stuff. Getting them Tide comboing me is like a pretty big concern, so I actually do have to be pretty fast, but like they Tide combo and then they just like don't kill me. Like if I just have Swords to Plowshares, I like get them. So I don't know. Is that good? They're also blue-black decks, so they can't do anything about resolved enchantments. It's a lot of questions. A lot of questions that need answering. Really want Soul Land. I really wish I had Mox Diamond specifically for this kind of deck. But yeah, we could certainly just lose to getting tided. Oh, Fire Extinct Furnace. Guess it's a good thing we have Seal of Cleansing in our deck. Oh, good thing we have Exalted Angel in our deck. It's actually sweet. Forgot about how sweet Exalted Angel was. Just can't plow a Quicksilver Dragon, huh? Ooh, Duress, no good here. It doesn't help you. Duress the Deep Analysis, though, right? Do you have an answer to Exalted Angel, blue-black deck? What do you think? Do you think they have Diabolic Edict, or do you think they have a null? Because they're not holding up Counterspell right now. I really don't want to get Opalescence countered and then get it eaten by Furnace for freezies. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, I guess I'm going into the Tide turn. So no, Opalescence would have made their Tide a creature. No, that's fine. Oh, interesting. Well, that's like a great outcome for me. Obviously, Tide is great here, but nothing we can do about that. I used a Chain of Vapor, so I'm going to Tide, Stifle. I'll go for another Duress. Deep Analysis. But I can cast that in Flow. Ooh, interesting. What do I do? Is there anything I can play around Counterspell here? I want to sit with this City of Traders. Hold back the City of Traders. I'm offering up too many lands, you know, to the eventual Parallax Tide. So Opalescence, again, doesn't do anything for me. So we keep on, I guess. I think they boarded out the Heuristic Studies. Okay, nope, no sense in holding back lands once we've got up to 5. Tide as a creature. What if I draw Seal of Cleansing or Swords of Plowshares? What if I had Seal of Cleansing? Pass, 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 pass. This video is going to get edited like crazy. So much is going to need to get cut out of it. Go again. Nexus this time. Morph this time. Sure. Morph with Counterspell backup. Drawing dead. Don't like that. They dealt with 2 Deep Analysis, which is actually like super the most relevant thing that's happened in this game. Oh, but we do have the Angel. Jam it face up. Force them to counter. I don't really want to jam it face up, or do I? What's the difference, really? Play around Mana Leak, then we just show down with our guys. Face up is like quite bad because of I could get now this Quicksilver Dragon turns off Swords of Plowshares with my Angel in play. They're like, I have a 5/5. The Angel doesn't actually matter. Anyways, when I say this is a clunky deck, this is kind of like what I'm talking about. Like, so a lot of the arguments for attunement is that attunement kind of like pulls you out of spots like this, so you can like just like every draw step, instead of drawing like a useless card, you just try to draw heat with attunement. But my problem with that plan is like it costs you a card every single turn to do that, so you're basically just discard a card, draw a card kind of idea. Beatdown, which I just don't know how good that is. Yeah, they're like should protect, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm always willing to update my priors though. Just go for the probe. A probe to try to probe into counterspell land. Give me something good. I'm not playing that land because if I draw intuition, I want to go intuition into jam. Give me something good. Another morph. Hello, deck, please. I'm dying here. Oh, no, they just flip the one that isn't blocked. They're short, right? They're short from flipping both. Well, Plowshares is live now. Guess it's not, is it? Just they like want to survive combat. They do want to survive combat. So Plowshares is live. A lot of things are live. Oh no, deck. Come on. Rancid. All right, let's just jump into another game. All right, playing against Paradox. I'm noted Terrageddon player, so we'll see how our deck goes. Oh, I was saying. All right. 3-2 going into the final match, and I kind of already hate everything, but it's okay. I mean, we defeated Grotog, so it's always good. And we've just got one of those hands, just one of those hands. Like, this is Mox time, and I get a turn 2 intuition, and I'm like a little bit more excited about life. Turn 2 intuition, turn 3 tide. But if it's Seal Cleansing, I get turn 4 tide combo on the draw. Pick up 4 lands against any mid-range deck. But this could just be a swamp deck. Interesting. Swamp deck. What do we know about swamp decks? We know that they're really bad against deep analysis, so I'm excited to sideboard those in again. I'm sideboarding them in so often. Ravenous Rats. I am good with that, my friend. I have all of the pieces too, which is actually I just noticed that. So as long as I can put things together, just discard this intuition, cast Seal Cleansing, discard the Seal Cleansing, do nothing. So intuition for the like if I draw a 2-mana Frantic Search. This intuition's doing nothing for me right now. I don't need to cast Replenish. This Seal Cleansing's kind of doing nothing for me right now. But opponent's deck does not enjoy being tide comboed. Just go tide combo and then establish Opal Wave. Just like have a little bit of because I want to be able to front end. It's actually kind of a weird decision because I want to just cast these cards. I just want to go turn 4 tide, next turn wave, win, and then if I get them duressed, it's like fine. But the intuition is kind of my hedge. I don't know. Basically, I'm thinking like intuition helps me draw the replenish, but I don't need to draw the replenish because I have all the cards in hand and no looting. So I'm not going to intuition replenish. I'm not going to intuition for attunement because that's just a waste of time. So yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate the Phyrexian Rager from my opponent. That's like a sweet piece of technology that I have no interest in casting Swords to Plowshares on. So we are missing our 4th land drop. So maybe we should have not fetched. We shall see. We should also hold the Seal of Cleansing to discard. And now we have a question of if we want to go to 15 life in the world that they are playing Dreams. And my answer to that is a surprising no. So I don't want to die to Dreams. And they look like they're set up for Dreams, so there's that too. Land, please. Oh my god. Ooh, this is a disaster because I'm still dead to Dreams. I guess Seal of Cleansing did nothing here for me. No Dreams. Okay, Rats. Rats are in. I can get duressed here too, which is kind of sweet. Lavaborn Muse, that's fine. I don't think they're a wasteland deck. I used to have 3 Cydia traders in this deck so that I could do triple traders here. but I do not. So instead, it's going to be triple Sky Cloud Expanse, I guess. Plains. Island. Nice painless mana. Okay, Seal Cleansing is fine. I mean, it's not really fine because Opal Wave combo just completely wrecks Machine Head, but don't actually even know if it's better. Like, Parallax Wave might just be better than Tide combo here. But I'm just trying not to accidentally get wrecked by, I don't know, anything. Like, there's not too much that accidentally wrecks me, but you know, maybe there's something wild, like lots of lightning bolts or something. So now duress kind of gets me, but not like too hard. And then yeah, you know what's funny? This Ravenous Rats is gonna come back into play when I Parallax Wave it. Ancient Tomb, don't need that. Oh wait, hold on. So this is 6/7 mana. So I'm 1 mana short. All right, the duress has to come this turn. Oh, just scoops to Parallax Wave, huh? Yeah, this is a pretty rough matchup for Machine Head. Okay. We're just gonna do this stuff. This is like an impossible matchup for them. Like I'm just way too bananas. Let's not bother with Seal Cleansing. I don't really care too much about Tormod's Crypt because I'm just gonna play my cards. Yeah, I could stand to have some of this in case he has aggressive red creatures, maybe. Certainly, like, reasonable. I mean, Powder Keg or Wrath of God. It's like all mid-rangey stuff. They've got some man lands. They got some Mishra's Factory sometimes. I don't know. No need to go too crazy, I think. I do just want to control the board. If I'm going to spend a lot of life playing Deep Analysis, I want to have some board control, I guess. Wrath of God might be good. There's like literally no point to Parallax Tide, right? Because there's just no way they can kill me, but the one copy to pair with the Intuition is fine. I mean, they'll have Red Blast, so I'll want Blue Blast to Blue Blast their Red Blast sometimes. Wrath of God, is Wrath of God necessary? Or Replenish might not even be good if they're going to bring in a bunch of graveyard hate. And I'm trimming so much looting. Sure. Whatevs. Chillin'. Very embarrassingly good matchup. A black mid-range against Replenish. Although I did lose to the black-white control deck, so, you know. Can't just be too sure of yourself all the time. Oh, no duress. The lack of hand disruption from my opponent is obviously not great for them. This hand isn't great either. I've got actually all the looting. I boarded out a copy of Replenish. You may have the duress. I had 2 Parallax Waves though, so just cast 1, cast Opalescence. Gets the attunement. Guess that's oh, Cabal Therapy? Could be disgusting. Yeah, oh no. Okay, imagine a Cabal Therapy there though. Ooh, Intuition for Deep Analysis. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be disgusting. Don't arrest me a 3rd time. Oh, don't do anything is even better. So do I even Intuition for Deep Analysis, or there's Intuition for Opalescence and then this game is over? Phyrexian Arena. This Tainted Peak is actually kind of suspicious, so maybe we just relax. Okay. Okay, kind of an interesting spot. Could end up not being strong for us. They don't know about the Intuition. They took attunement when if they had Blast, they could have just blasted the attunement. Just have a Lavaborn Muse. Double Intuition. Well, if I double Intuition, I still want to do it on their end step, right? So, because I don't want to get Haunting Echoes, and like, you know, if they have double Red Blast, they have double Red Blast. It's like, it happens. Ravenous Rats. It's fine. Don't need this Flooded Strand. Okay, let's see if it's double Blast. It's not double Blast. Oh, that's certainly not good for them. So now I get to be an Opalescence gamer. And then, okay, so pretty good spot here where we're in good shape against everything. And then Dystopia doesn't even work. One of the big reasons why Dystopia is not really a good card is, yeah, so Dystopia would just make it so I just can exile Dystopia with Parallax Wave. So black-green deck, black-red deck short of a Anarchy here has nearly no outs to Opal Wave combo, which is a big reason why it's such a heinous matchup. Now, don't get me wrong, there are things that can happen. You know, it's not impossible for me to lose from this spot, It's just improbable. Could lose to a Draco combo. Oh, I guess I could have just gone for the lockout by intuitioning for Tide and replenishes. But yeah, that wraps it up. All right. Replenish, little 4-2. My changes to the deck, pretty relevant in some spots. We defeated Burn using our Blue Blast plan. We never cast Wrath of God, and we just cast Powder Keg once against Grotog, but this is specifically to help the Grotog matchup. Exalted Angel, of course, super relevant. Arty messaged me afterwards, and we kind of had a discussion about what Grotog is supposed to do. It's like, do you keep in plows? Do you keep in 2 plow? Like, it's like you can't have 0 plow, but you kind of have counter spells. You have Fire Ice, so it's not like you have nothing against Angel. So it's a raging debate, but the important part is it puts your opponent in a tough spot. Super unfortunate that Moto exploded in that game against Arty. So our fix being to play a best of 5 instead of playing it as it lies was kind of a compromise to like I could have drawn Wrath of God like whatever. Arty could have drawn Counterspell, but yeah, Magic Online really blows sometimes. I Tide comboed a couple times. Can't really recall how many times it mattered. There were random Phyrexian Furnaces that I could have effectively Seal Cleansinged, and definitely totally this main deck totally feels fine. I did flood out some games, but I also had a game where I like missed my 4th land drop, so stuff like that. And basically the stock version of the deck runs 24 lands, sometimes 25. My 26th land is a spell, so don't feel like 26 is really too much. Like, I know I flooded against black-white. No, I lost to black-white. It's super embarrassing. Not a deck that I expect to lose to with this deck, but it's actually happened twice. So, who knows? I do think that it's hard to fit Mox Diamond. Basically, what happens is you move Seal Cleansing, extra Tide to the board or something like Seal Cleansing and Attunement to the sideboard. These go away, or rather, Attunement's not on the sideboard. These go away. You play 4 Moxes in the main deck. Moxes accelerate you to doing turn 2 Tide into a setup combo through protection in game 1s, and then games 2 and 3 you have super fast Exalted Angel, which helps you compete with goblins. Goblins and Burn. So Blue Blast bridges the gap, fills the role. It's very mana efficient, trades well, makes your deck much better at interacting early. Doesn't fix your mana though, right? But we play a few extra lands which fix your mana in a sense. But yeah, really powerful deck. I think it's like it was underrated in the sense that like I think that if you were playing a tournament with 100 people, I think like up to 10 should probably show up with this deck, and its representation rate was closer to like in a large field tournament there'd be like 4. So it's been tearing through Europe, starting to grow in popularity. As these things do, you start seeing some success. You want to try it out. I think it's actually I might actually be I consider myself to be like really solid at building and pretty good at playing the deck, but I also think that my brain is like weirdly incompatible with the decisions that this deck presents you. Lots of spots where I couldn't figure out what to intuition for. Sequencing, sometimes it's obvious, like you play away for 4 Opalescence, right? But other times you get asked some pretty difficult questions about how you need to sequence, and the answer is like not always super clear, and I think I'm not that accurate. And then sequencing your lands is also important. Like you'll be in spots where like whether or not you played a dual land or a basic land actually affects your turn 2 or turn 3 because you like top decked a Ancient Tomb off the top. So it's like you're like, oh, I'm gonna hold up Flooded Strand, Swords of Plowshares instead of a Dark Array, Swords of Plowshares. But then you like top deck an Ancient Tomb, so you can't cast your Attunement Intuition on turn 2 because you didn't play the Dark Arrays. But then again, you saved a life point. So lots of little intricacies. But yeah, deck's good. Don't get me wrong. Deck's powerful. Don't get me wrong. But it's also super clunky. Puts you in some weird spots. This card is supposed to get you out of these spots, but it's also like at such tremendous cost, right? You're just like, instead of taking a draw step, you take a selection step, and like, draw step's pretty powerful. So like, you can't just attune all your problems away. Like sometimes you need selection and quality. But maybe the ideal setup is to just start the deep analysis and have extra stuff to loot into your graveyard, start a little bit more advantage against the grinding decks. Doesn't seem super plausible to me, but would be interesting to explore. People have been liking stuff like Factor Fiction in the intuition spot. Again, my argument for intuition is pretty simple. Intuition just like makes it so that you find opalescence. It's just like, it just has to be done every single game. It's just like, you don't want just your 4 copies of opalescence. You want intuition, you want opalescence, and you want all your dig. But I kind of understand when you're just kind of like, okay, well, instead of just grabbing my opalescence, I want to stay on top of the battlefield. So I'm going to play Chain of Vapors and Mana Leaks and Interaction. Those convert into virtual draw steps, and then eventually those, that extra time saves or time that I'm spinning my attunement until I find my opalescence, then win the game. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, the caveat to that is that you are sometimes forced to just be like, okay, I'm going to run out of wave and I need my opalescence or intuition to come, while my wave is out, because I had an open turn and I didn't want to pass. I wanted to use my mana. So I don't know. Lots of intricacies, but that's Replenish. I'm lower on Replenish than other people. I'm higher on it than, it's a representation. One of the things is I think it's maybe not very good against meddling mage decks, but, maybe just having a bunch of powder keg Wrath of God is actually, a really sick answer to that. I only played against one meddling mage deck. I'd love to test against more. I think this is there are kind of arguments for all my cards. Deep Analysis didn't really pop off this time. Obviously, I was dying to draw once against Black-White, so understandably, you can see how you can play a deck that doesn't have as much Deep Analysis action in the board and has Factor Fiction or some other random card to manage instead. But I like keeping intuition, like being able to intuition for a Deep Analysis post board against a bunch of decks. It's just like, instead of playing 3 sideboard cards, you get 6 sideboards. You get double your sideboard value by having Deep Analysis. So, have fun out there replenishing, and thanks for watching.